Okay, so we are live and I will hand it to you, Chuck.
All right, I'll call the meeting to order at 7 p.m. First item on the agenda is you've all read the minutes of the meeting held on September 9th. Any questions, queries, omissions that you have noticed in the meetings, in the minutes? None. Can we get a motion to accept those minutes? Seconded. All in favor? Carried. Any disclosure of pecuniary interest in any of the files before us this evening? Dan? Dave?
No.
Sean?
No, sir.
Barry? Perfect. So our first application is a consent file 20-B03. Over to you, Christine.
So as you're aware, we had this application at our last meeting in October. And we have another recommendation from the planning department, and I will read that for you. Is be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby accept the following. That the planning department, in consideration of our solicitor's advice, as well as our past practices with applications in the Niagara Escarpment jurisdiction, recommends deferral of the application 20-B03 until the development permit has been issued to address the additional land uses and the construction of the additional trails from the Niagara Escarpment on the subject lands.
Anyone care to make any comment on this file at this time? No one. Do we have a motion to? Oh,
sorry,
yes.
It's Christine Loft. Sorry, I was unsure if you were asking committee or the public. I am representing the applicants. So I will we are working with the NEC, as staff's initial report indicated, we had pre-consulted with the NEC, and it had been indicated at that time that we did not require a development permit, which is the reason that we went ahead and applied for the consent directly. So we understand that we possibly do now require the development permit. So we are working with the NEC on that, and I'll hope that that's a quick process and that we're back before you.
Thank you very much, Christine, for that information. And back to council. Do we have a motion to defer this until as written? Yes, Barry. Yes, Sean. Yes, Dave. And Dan. Awesome. Motion carried to defer 20-B03 until we see a development permit. And thank you very much, Christine Loft. Next file is minor variance 20-A13. Over to you, Christine.
Thank you. The subject application concerns lands municipally known as 1029-1516 Side Road, formerly Sunnydale, and legally described as Concession 10, West Part Lot 16. The purpose of the application is to request the approval of the Committee of Adjustment for relief from the following. 1, Section 2.5.1, accessory dwelling unit, maximum habitable space of 111 square meters to 120 square meters. And Section 2.5.2, detached accessory dwelling unit, distance from primary dwelling from 50 meters to 75 meters. The effect of the application is to allow for the construction of a detached accessory dwelling unit on the subject lands. Comments were received from the Ministry of Transportation and from the Chief Building Official, neither having a concern or objection to the application. And I have a recommendation from the Planning Department that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby approve the minor variance 20-A13 pertaining to lands at 1029-1516 Side Road, formerly Sunnydale Township, now in the Township of Clearview, and legally described as West Part of Lot 16, Concession 10, formerly Sunnydale Township, now in the Township of Clearview, on the basis that it meets the 4 tests in accordance with the Planning Act and with the following conditions. The detached accessory apartment can be built 75 meters from the main dwelling as shown on the site plan submitted with the application and seen in Schedule C of the planning report. The detached accessory apartment can be built to a total gross floor area of 120 square meters. The accessory apartment can be built to the total gross floor area of 52% of the primary or principal residence on the lot, and the applicant is required to obtain a Ministry of Transportation building and land use permit prior to issuance of a building permit. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Christine. Welcome to Paul and Glenda to our meeting this evening. Do you have anything to add to this application that we may not already be looking at in front of us?
I don't think so, no.
Okay,
No, I don't believe so, no.
no problem. Perfect. Any of the members of the committee have a question? Barry? You're muted, Barry.
Barry, can you unmute yourself, please?
Question for our planning and building department. Why is a permit required from the Ministry of Transportation? Is that because it's closeness to the airport? Is that why?
Actually, no, because it fronts onto Highway 26, and that is a Ministry of Transportation corridor. And sometimes what happens is they capture quite a bit of land within that corridor. So in some cases, it's 400 meters, sometimes it's 800 meters. And in this case, when we circulated, they did request that a development permit or a permit be obtained. I think it's just so that they can keep track of what's close to their corridor.
Great, thank you.
Can
Sean
I
and-
say something about that? When we did the preliminary,
Yes, keep going.
can you hear me, Glenda?
Yes,
When we submitted our pre-consultation, the MTO said they had no issues or no desire for warrants because it was, or permits, because it was going to be south of the property where we are already built. So I don't know when they said we needed a permit.
Well,
If I may, Mr. Chair, that's what I thought. I was surprised because it is exactly, it's to the south of the existing building. So it's a little surprised. That's
this just came in from the MTO as comments. So again, I'm just adding it as a comment. We could add, if required, to the conditions, if that helps, and then we can certainly question them. That would give you a bit of an out if it's not needed.
I would so move that we make that amendment, add in the words "if required," and then the planning department can follow up on that. I would appreciate somebody's.
I think too, like it's not meant to be a lengthy process with the MTO. It's matter of just reaching out and they just give you, like, it's like getting an entrance permit, but you're just sort of letting them know. But we can certainly add that to the condition, and if required, and then double back.
do we have a seconder on that motion to amend that last requirement?
I'll make that motion, Chuck, because I had the same question as Barry.
All in favor? Carried. Do you need a second, Christine, to make that amendment?
Oh, that'll be fine. I can update that. So just to confirm, the motion to change the condition, we're handling as one item, and then we'll call for another motion to actually approve the application.
Yes.
Great. Thank you.
So any comments to Paula, Glenda, Dan?
No, I don't think I have any questions. I went to the site and looked at it. I actually spoke with your son about it, and he was quite nice to show me where the house is being put, and I understand he's had a new baby this past weekend, so congratulations on a new grandchild.
Thank you. Yeah,
Any comments or
that's the new
questions?
house.
Dave?
Thanks.
No, I don't, Chuck. As I say, the only one I had was the same one that Barry had, which seemed to be a little confusing with the MTO, but we've dealt with that now. So no further questions.
Sean, do you have any comments or questions for the applicant?
No, no questions for the applicant.
Do we wish to make a motion to accept said application for variance at this time? Dan, seconded?
Can I ask a question of planning staff?
You may certainly, sir.
Thank you. So, Roslyn, this is essentially allowing a second residence on a single lot in the absence of being able to be granted any permission for a severance under the auspices of farm help. Is that summarizing the official plan and how this is being suggested by you?
So this is actually an accessory apartment. So it is considered a second dwelling, but it is accessory to the main dwelling. So they wouldn't, and this is something that our bylaw allows for in terms of either for farm help or for rental. I think we tried to be a little bit flexible in that second dwelling for those purposes.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes, Barry?
Yes, also the county promotes secondary suites, and the secondary suites don't have to be attached to the existing structure.
At this time, do we have, if there's no more comments, do we have a motion to accept this severance or variance? Yes, seconded? All in favor? Carried. Paul and Glenda, there is a 20-day appeal period on your variance request. You're good with that?
Meaning others can appeal it?
Yes. So what I'm saying is
So we
don't put
can't
us,
apply for building permit till that time's over?
your building permit will be ready when the 20-day period has gone past.
Can I answer that? That's
Okay.
through you to Paul and Glenda?
Yes, please.
So Paul and Glenda, I mean, if you have a comfort in wanting to apply for your building permit, you can do that. And what we would do is start our review, and we would just hold it until the appeal period has completed, and then we could issue it after that date, if you choose.
Thank you. Okay. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul and Glenda. Last but not least on our agenda this evening is the addendum to a file that we discussed last September. Over to you, Christine.
So staff received a request to amend a condition of the original minor variance approval as part of file 19A12. And the recommendation from the planning department is, be it resolved that the Committee of Adjustment of the Township of Clearview hereby accepts this report as an addendum, minor variance report 19A12 dated September 11th, 2019, and two, approves the following change in condition to minor variance 19A12. From that no windows, man doors, or access points on or to the detached accessory structure are located adjacent to the institutional lands to the east and or the residential lands to the south. 2, that no windows, man doors, or access points on or to the detached accessory structure are located adjacent to the institutional lands to the east and/or the residential lands to the south, other than 2 fixed ground floor windows, each measuring 1.5 meters by 0.6 meters on the south side of the structure, and 1 fixed ground floor window measuring 0.9 meters by 0.6 meters on the east side of the detached accessory structure. And that's all I have.
Thank you, Christine. Mr. Dewitz, you are representing this file, I believe?
Yes.
Do you have any additional comments that we did not see and we do not have in front of us currently to support this request?
Yeah, it was just it was partly my fault because I didn't show any windows on the plan. Like I did the minor variance before I had to do the MVCA, so it was just kind of a quick sketch. And during that minor variance period, my understanding was just on the second floor, I wasn't allowed to have windows and doors. And I didn't realize the main floor was included in that. And that's kind of my own mistake because I didn't show the windows right away. So I just was hoping to get that amended. I still don't want to have windows on the upper floor facing to the south or east. It just shown on the new plan there. So and they are fixed, and it's not for. It's just the purpose of it is just to allow daylight from the south side, especially into the garage.
So I guess my question before I let the rest of the members of the committee ask is, when Mr. Burton asked you whether you understood the conditions last September, and you said yes, which when I read it clearly indicated no windows or at all or anything on those 2 sides, you said yes, you understood.
Yeah, that's my own mistake.
All right. Any comments or questions from the committee to Mr. Dewitt, starting with Mr. Burton?
Yes, so just to clarify, Josh, that these windows are strictly to bring daylight into the garage. Is that correct? And they're not manually openable, or they're strictly
That's
fixed?
correct. They will be fixed,
Right.
and they are more than 7 feet above the concrete floor. So the only thing I can see is sky. I can't see the neighbor, and then vice versa. They can't really see in. So it's the purpose is daylight. So like I can't ventilate or anything either. So if they're worried about noise or anything like that, that's not going to change the noise factor or the view factor. Like I won't be able to peek in on the neighbor, let's say. But it's just the light would be beneficial to us for sure.
Any comments, Mr. Davidson?
No comments.
Mr. Dave?
I have no comments with regard to this. It seems to be very sensible to grab some southern light and some eastern light coming up in the morning, so no problem.
Dan?
I have no comments on the windows, but I do have a small concern about the steel roof that is on that drawing there now, because that roof is facing the neighbor's, I believe, slope. The slope faces the neighbor's property there. Am I correct on that?
Yes, we are going to be installing a snow stop right across.
Okay, that was my with that, because that would be a blast of snow that would destroy a fence and be landing on the neighbor's property there. So
Yeah, for sure. No, I do have that. That will be installed though, for sure. And we do also have gutters so that the rain's not flying down either. And
Right. Okay.
Control as well.
Good. That's my only concern.
All right. Do we need to discuss amongst us before taking a vote on this file? I didn't think so. Do I have a motion to accept this addendum? Yes, Dave? A seconder? Yes, all in favor? Carried, Christine. The addendum can be changed.
Thank you. Just
Thank
to
you very
inform-
much.
oh, sorry.
Thank you
Sorry, I
very
was-
much, Mr. Dewitt, for joining us.
Okay, thank you very much.
I was just going to explain, sorry, as well, Chuck, that as part of the change with the addendum, we will be recirculating the notice of decision for tonight's meeting, including the amended condition with the notice. So an appeal period will be in effect as well for 20 days from today, just so that that you're aware of that as well. So we will recirculate that decision.
All right, so no cutting any holes in the walls, Mr. Dewitt.
That's reasonable because they can't even get windows in 20 days nowadays. It's a long wait for anything. No, that's fine. Thank you.
All right, then. That concludes our application part of our meeting. So you can have a lovely evening, Mr. Dewitt.
Okay, thank you. I'll take care.
All right.
Bye-bye.
So moving on to any new business, is there any new business, Christine, that we need to discuss?
I have no new business. I will let you all know that we did not receive any new applications for our November meeting, so we won't be having a meeting in November. We will likely have one in December, I'm assuming. I think we're expecting some to come in, but you'll have a break next month.
All righty then. Anything else from the committee members? Nothing. Wow, quick meeting, 21 minutes. All right, do we have a motion to adjourn? Yes, Sean. Seconded. All in favor? Carried.